Good morning. In this module, we can discuss quadratic residues. We know 11 is a prime and it is also an odd. Then 1 square is congruent to 1 mod 11. We know 1 minus 1 is a multiple of 11. 2 square is congruent to 4 mod 11. 3 square equal to 9. 9 is also congruent to 9 mod 11. Then 4 square, that is 16. 16 is, when we divide 16 by 11, the remainder is 5. So 4 square is congruent to 5 mod 11. That is 16 minus 5, that is 11. Then 5 square, that is 25. 25 is congruent to 3 mod 11. We know 25 minus 3 is 22. It is also a divisor of, it is a multiple of 11. Then 6 square. 6 square equal to 36. 36 is congruent to 36 is 36 minus 33, that is 3 mod 11. Again 7 square. 7 square is 49. 49 is again 5 mod 11. Then 8 square. 8 square is 64. So it is 55. That is 9 mod 11. Then 9 square. 9 square is congruent to 9 square is 81. 81 is 81 minus 77, that is 4. 4 mod 11. Then 10 square. 10 square is congruent to 10 square is 100. 100 minus 99 is mod. So it is congruent to 1 mod 11. Thus we see that if n is an odd prime, p minus 1 is an even number, and also we see that among these numbers 1, 4, 9, 5, 3, 3, 5, 9, 4, 1. So among these numbers 1, 2, 3, etc. to p minus 1, 1, 4, 9, 5, 3. That is 5 numbers belongs to these residue classes. Satisfies the second degree equation, quadratic equation, x square is congruent to n mod p. So we can define quadratic residue. A number n such that p does not divide n and p is an odd prime, then a number n is said to be belongs to quadratic residue modulo p. We denote it by nrp if for every x, integer x, such that x square is congruent to n mod p. X square is congruent to n mod p. We say that n is a quadratic residue modulo p. We see among these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Among these p minus 1 numbers, 5 of them are quadratic residues. And the remaining numbers, what are they? The remaining numbers are 2, 6, 7, 8, 10. This does not belongs to this QRP, NRP. So we say that these numbers belongs to not residue congruency modulo P, or we denote by NR bar P. Therefore, if n is any positive, if p is any odd prime and n is a number that does not divide n, n belongs to NRP if this satisfies the equation x square is congruent to n mod p, or this equation is solvable. Then for the first property is, among these p minus 1 numbers 1, 2, etc. to p minus 1, the property states that p minus 1 by 2 numbers are NRP, and the remaining p minus 1 by 2 numbers are n r bar p. For which assume that these numbers are, say, 1 square, 2 square, 3 square, etc. p minus 1 by 2 the whole square r belongs to n r. Then we see these numbers are distinct. For if not, let r square is congruent to s square mod p, then p divides r square minus s square. That means p divides r plus s into r minus s. But r and s are less than p minus 1 by 2. Therefore, r is less than p minus 1 by 2 and s is less than p minus 1 by 2. Therefore, r plus s is less than p minus 1. Therefore, p does not divide r plus s. Similarly, we can see that p does not divide r minus s. So, our assumption is wrong. Therefore, these are all distinct. Therefore, we get there are only p minus 1 by 2 numbers which are quadratic residue modulo p. Again, we know r square equal to p minus r the whole square modulo p. Because p minus r equal the whole square equal to p square minus 2rp minus plus r square modulo p. We know for all these terms p. Therefore, r square and p minus r the whole square are same. Therefore, we have only p minus 1 by 2 numbers which are NRP, and the remaining p minus 1 minus p minus 1 by 2 equal to p minus 1 by 2 numbers. They belongs to NR bar p. Then we define Legendre symbol. A Legendre symbol is a number denoted by n by p for the conditions are satisfied by that is p is an odd prime and n is a number which is not a multiple of p. Then we have n by p, the Legendre symbol denoted as n by p equal to 1 if n r p, and minus 1 if n r bar p. Furthermore, if n is a multiple of p, n is a multiple of p, or if p divides n, then n by p equal to 0. So it is the Legendre symbol. Legendre symbols varies three values 0, 1 and minus 1, such that if n by p equal to 1 if n is n belongs to quadratic residue modulo p, and minus 1 if n belongs to quadratic non-residue modulo p, and equal to 0 if n is a multiple of p. Then let us discuss so many properties of Legendre symbol. First is n by p equal to first property is n by p, that is known as Euler's criterion. Euler's criterion that states that n by p equal to n raised to p minus 1 by 2. N by p equal to, the Euler's criterion states that n by p equal to n raised to p minus 1 by 2 modulo p. For that, first case 1 is P divides N. That is, N is a multiple of P implies N equal to K into P. N equal to K into P. That means N is congruent to 0 mod P. Therefore, we know if A is congruent to B mod P, then A raised to N is congruent to B raised to N mod P. Therefore, N raised to P minus 1 by 2 is a positive integer. We know P is an odd prime, P minus 1 is even, so P minus 1 by 2 is an integer. Therefore, N raised to P minus 1 by 2 is congruent to 0 raised to N minus P minus 1 by 2, that is also 0 mod P. But we know, if P divides N, N by P is defined as the Legendre symbol N by P equal to 0. Therefore, N raised to P minus 1 by 2 is congruent to N by P mod P. Applying symmetric property, we have N by P equal to N raised to P minus 1 by 2 mod P if P divides N. Then the second case is if P does not divide N. If P does not divide N. In this case, two cases arises. First case is N belongs to quadratic residue modulo P. In this case, we know since P does not divide N and N are P, we know there exists an equation x raised to P minus 1 x square is congruent to N mod P. Then, since P minus 1 by 2 is a positive integer, x square raised to P minus 1 by 2 is congruent to N raised to P minus 1 by 2 modulo P. But, since P does not divide N, x does not divide N, since P does not divide N, implies xp is also equal to 1. Then we apply Fermat's theorem. What is Fermat's theorem states? Fermat's theorem states that x raised to P minus 1 is congruent to 1 mod P. But what is 1? 1 is, since NRP means N by P equal to 1. Therefore, we get x raised to P minus 1 is congruent to N by P mod P. Also here, x raised to P minus 1 is congruent to N raised to P minus 1 by 2 modulo P. So, if P does not divide N and N belongs to quadratic residue modulo P, we have an equation x square is congruent to N mod P. Therefore, x square raised to P minus 1 by 2 is also congruent to N raised to P minus 1 by 2 modulo P. That is, x raised to P minus 1 is congruent to N raised to P minus 1 by 2 modulo P. That is the equation 1. Again, since x and P are relatively prime, by Fermat's theorem, x raised to P minus 1 is congruent to 1 mod P. That is, but since NRP means N by P equal to 1, therefore x raised to P minus 1 is congruent to N by P modulo P. It is equation number 2 and it is equation number 1. From 1 and 2 we have N by P is congruent to N raised to P minus 1 by 2 modulo N if N belongs to quadratic residue modulo P. Then for the third case, consider N R bar. In this case, consider the equation since P and N are P does not divide N and P is a relatively prime number, we can apply Fermat's theorem, that is N raised to P minus 1 is congruent to 1 modulo P. That is N raised to P minus 1 minus 1 is congruent to 0 mod p. Since p minus 1 is an even number, we can take this as p minus 1 by 2 also. So n raised to p minus 1 by 2 plus 1 into n raised to p minus 1 by 2 minus 1 is congruent to 0 mod p. So a product is congruent to 0 mod p. Either this is congruent to 0 mod p or this is congruent to 0 mod p. Consider the equation say fx, the polynomial congruency fx equal to x raised to p minus 1 by 2 minus 1 is congruent to 0 mod p. By Lagrange's theorem we know this equation has at most p minus 1 by 2 solutions. Let them be x1, x2, etc. x1, x2, etc. xp minus 1 by 2. Also these numbers are distinct. Therefore, these numbers are distinct and these belongs to these, we know these p minus 1 by 2 numbers are belongs to n or p. But here these n are not, the second condition we in the third condition we assume that these n are non-quadratic residue modulo p. Therefore, these solutions does not belongs to this x1, x2, etc. xp minus 1 by 2. Therefore, we have the another equation that is n raised to p minus 1 by 2 plus 1 is congruent to 0 mod p. That is n raised to p minus 1 by 2 is congruent to minus 1 mod p. But since n r bar p means minus 1 equal to n by p. Therefore, it is n by p. Hence, in all cases, n by p equal to n raised to n by p. The Legendre symbol n by p equal to n raised to p minus 1 by 2 mod p. So, in Legendre symbol, it is 1 or 0 or minus 1 according as n by p equal to n raised to p minus 1 by 2 mod p. Then let us find minus 1 by p and 2 by p. Then, before that we can see that this Legendre symbol is completely multiplicative. Completely multiplicative means x by p into y by p. There are two Legendre symbols equal to xy by p. For that, we have three cases arises. First case is p divides x and p divides y. In this case, we know x by p equal to the Legendre symbol x by p equal to 0, y by p equal to 0. There also xy by p equal to xy by p equal to xy the whole raised, x by p into y by p equal to, but we know x by p equal to x raised to p minus 1 by 2 modulo p, and y by p equal to y by p equal to y by p equal to y raised to p minus 1 by 2 modulo p. Therefore, x by p into y by p, x by p into y by p. This x is straight line. X by p into y by p equal to, now standing line, is congruent to x raised to p minus 1 by 2 into y raised to p minus 1 by 2. That means xy raised to p minus 1 by 2 modulo p. That is, by the above theorem, we know it is xy by p modulo p. That means p divides xy x by p into y by p minus xy by p. But x by p and y by p are the values lying between -1 or +1, and also xy by p is also -1 or +1. Therefore, it cannot be a multiple of p. So, only possibility is that is equal to 0. That is x by p into y by p equal to xy by p. That is Legendre symbol is completely multiplicative. Then we can evaluation of -1 by p and 2 by p. That means we have to find whether -1 or 2 belongs to this quadratic residue modulo p. If they belongs to quadratic residue modulo p, -1 by p equal to 1 and 2 by p equal to 1. Also, if 2 by p is -1, then 2 does not belongs to quadratic residue modulo p. We know 1 always belongs to quadratic residue modulo p. But also 4, that is 2 square, also maybe belongs to. Also, then we have to verify whether 2 or 3 or 5 or etc. belongs to this QNRP. For that, first of all, -1 by p. By the result, we know n by p equal to n raised to p minus 1 by 2 modulo p. So, -1 by p equal to -1 raised to p minus 1 by 2 modulo p. But we have two cases arises. So, first case is p equal to 4n plus 1. We know every number can be expressed as either 4n multiple of 4 or 4n plus 1 or 4n plus 2, 4n plus 3. Every number can be expressed. We know every number can be expressed as either 4n or 4n plus 1, 4n plus 2, 4n plus 3. But 4n is even, so that p cannot be possible. Similarly, 4n plus 2 is also even, so these two possibilities cannot be. Therefore, we have only two cases, that is p equal to, first case is p equal to 4n plus 1. Then p minus 1 equal to 4n, therefore p minus 1 by 2 equal to 2n. Therefore, -1 raised to p minus 1 by 2 is 2n by 2. That is -1 raised to 2n. It is also 1. So, 1 modulo p, but we know this. It is only values are is between 0, -1 and 1. So, the possibility of -1 by p equal to 1, -1 by p equal to 1, -1 by p equal to 1, if n is p equal to 4n plus 1 or p is congruent to 1 modulo 4. Similarly, we can see that if n equal to p equal to 4n plus 3, p minus 1 equal to 4n plus 2. Therefore, p minus 1 by 2 equal to 4n plus 2 equal to 2n plus 1. In this case, -1 raised to p minus 1 by 2 equal to -1 raised to 4n plus 2 equal to -1 raised to 2n plus 1 equal to -1. Therefore, we have it is equal to -1. -1 means if the number p prime is of the form 3 modulo 4n, when it is -1. That is, if p is a number of the form 4n plus 3, then the number then -1 is not a QR. Belongs to quadratic residue modulo p. So we have -1 by p equal to -1 raised to p minus 1 by 2 modulo p, that is equal to 1 if p equal to 3 modulo 1 modulo 4n and equal to -1 if p is congruent to 3 modulo 4. That is the one finding of minus 1 by p. Then we can find 2 by p. That means whether this 2 belongs to this quadratic residue modulo p or not. So we can see that 2 by p equal to minus 1 raised to p square minus 1 by 8. That is equal to 1 if p is equal to plus or minus 1 modulo 8 and equal to minus 1 if p is congruent to plus or minus 3 modulo 8. So we have 2 by p. 2 belongs to this quadratic residue modulo p if p is of the form 8n plus 1 and p is of the form 8n minus 1. But this n belongs to this 2 belongs to the non-residue modulo p, non-quadratic residue modulo p if p is of the form 8n plus 3 or 8n minus 3. Let us see. We know p minus 1. P minus 1 is congruent to 1 into minus 1 raised to 1 modulo p. Similarly, 2. 2 is congruent to 2 into minus 1 raised to 2 modulo p. Then p minus 3 is congruent to 3 into minus 1 raised to 3 modulo p, etc. P minus 1 by 2 is congruent to p minus 1 by 2 into minus 1 raised to p minus 1 by 2 modulo p. You can see that if p is any number, say p equal to 11, then p minus 1 is 10, is congruent to minus 1 modulo 11. Similarly, 2 is congruent to 2 into minus 1 raised to 2 modulo 11. Then p minus 3 is 8. P minus 3 equal to 8 is also congruent to 3 into minus 1 raised to 3 modulo 11. Then 4 is congruent to 4 into minus 1 raised to 4 modulo 11. Then we see p minus 5. P minus 5 equal to 6. 6 is congruent to 5 into minus 1 raised to 5 modulo 11. Then we have p minus 6. P minus 6 equal to p minus 5. Yes. Then next number is 6. 6 is here. So we see that 2 into 4 into 6 into 8 into 10. 2 into 4 into 6 into 8 into 10. That is 2 into 1, 2 into 2, 2 into 3, 2 into 4, then 2 into 5. What is 5? 5 is p minus 1 by 2. 2 into p minus 1 by 2. Similarly, if we multiply these all numbers, we get 2 into 4 into 6 into etc. into p minus 1 by 2 into p minus etc. into lastly p minus 1 is congruent to 1 into 2 into 3 into etc. p minus 1. 1 into 2 into 3 into etc. p minus 1 by 2 into minus 1 raised to 1 into minus 1 raised to 2 into minus 1 raised to 3 into etc. minus 1 raised to 1 plus 2 plus etc. plus p minus 1 by 2 modulo p. So we get, here we can take 2, 2, 2, 2 etc. So 2, that means 2 raised to p minus 1 by 2 into 1 into 2 into etc. p minus 1 by 2. We can take 2 from all the p minus 1 by 2 terms. 2, 4, since there are 2 to p minus 1 even numbers, so there are how many numbers? P minus 1 by 2 numbers. So it is 2 raised to p minus 1 by 2 into 1 into 2 into etc. p minus 1 by 2 equal to p minus 1 by 2 factorial into minus 1 raised to, we know, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus etc. p minus 1 by 2. Sum of p minus 1 by 2, we know sum of n number is n into n plus 1 by 2. Therefore, it is p minus 1 by 2 into p plus 1 by 2 by 2. n into n plus 1 by 2. That is p square minus 1 by 8. Therefore, we get, it is minus 1 raised to p square minus 1 by 8 into modulo p. We can cancel p minus 1 by 2 factorial both sides. So, we get 2 raised to p minus 1 by 2 is congruent to minus 1 raised to p square minus 1 by 8 modulo p. But we know 2 by p equal to, we know n by p equal to n raised to p minus 1 by 2. Therefore, 2 by p equal to 2 raised to p minus 1 by 2 equal to minus 1 raised to p square minus 1 by 8 modulo p. Therefore, 2 by p can be expressed as 2 by p equal to minus 1 raised to p square minus 1 by 8 modulo p. But we know, if p is a number, then p can be either 8n or 8n plus 1 or 8n plus 2 etc. 8n plus 7. But we are given that p is an odd prime. Therefore, it may be either 8n plus 1 or 8n plus 3 or 8n minus 1 or 8n minus 3. Therefore, p square minus 1 by 8. So, if p is congruent to 8n plus 1, p minus 1, p minus 1 is also, p square is also a multiple of 8n the whole square, 8n the whole square, that is 64n square plus etc. Plus 16n plus 1. Therefore, p square minus 1 is multiple of 16. Therefore, p square minus 1 by 2 is a multiple of 8, multiple of 2. P square minus 1 by 8 is a multiple of 16 by 8 equal to a multiple of 2. Therefore, minus 1 raised to p square minus 1 by 8 equal to 1 if p is of the form 8n plus 1 or 8n minus 1. But if p is of the form 8n plus or minus 3, p square equal to 64n square plus 48n plus 9. 9 is again 8 plus 1. Therefore, p square minus 1 is 6 multiple of 64n plus 48n plus 8. Therefore, p square minus 1 by 8 is by 8. That is multiple of 2n plus 1. Therefore, minus 1 raised to p square minus 1 by 8 equal to minus 1 raised to 2n plus 1 equal to minus 1. Therefore, if p are of the form 8n plus 3, that means 8 plus 3 is 11, etc., we can see that 2 does not belong to, we have seen also, 2 does not belong to the quadratic residue modulus. Then we are come on to Gauss' lemma. You know, Gauss is a very, very famous mathematician, and Gauss' lemma states that if n is not a multiple of p, that means if p does not divide n, then n by p equal to minus 1 raised to m. The Legendre symbol n by p equal to, if p does not divide n, then n by p equal to minus 1 raised to m. Where what is m? M is the number of residues exceeds p by 2 when we divide 1 into n, 2 into n, etc. p minus 1 by 2 into n by p. That means if R1, R2, etc. are p minus 1 by 2 are the residues, when we divide 1 into n, 2 into n, etc., p minus 1 by 2n, p minus 1 by 2 into n, some of the residues are less than p by 2, then let them be a1, a2, etc., ak. And some of the residues are greater than p by 2. They are, let them be b1, b2, etc., bm. Then n by 2 equal to the Gauss lemma states that n by p equal to minus 1 raised to m. The Gauss lemma states that if n is any positive integer such that n does not divide p does not divide n, such that p does not divide n, then n by p equal to minus 1 raised to m, where m is the number of residues which exceeds p by 2 of the residues obtained from 1 into n, 2 into n, etc., p minus 1 by 2 into n, let them be r1, r2, etc., rp minus 1. So among these are p minus 1 by 2 residues, some of the residues are less than p by 2 and some of them are greater than p by 2. Then the number of residues is m. Then in the Gauss lemma states that n by p equal to minus 1 raised to m. For simple example, we can simply say a p equal to say 11 and n equal to say 5. Then 5 into 1 equal to 5 into 1 is 5 into 1 divided by 11, the residue R1 equal to 5. Similarly, 2 into n equal to 10, the residue is R2 is 10. 3 into n is 15. 15 is residue is divided 4. Then 4 into n is 44. 4 into n is 4 into 5 is 20. 20 by 11 gives 9. Then 5 into n. 1 into n, 2 into n, 3 into n, 4 into n, and p minus 1 by 2 into n. P minus 1 by 2 is 5 into n. 5 into n gives 5 into 5, 25. 25 by 11, we get 3. So we get that some of them are p by 2 is 5.5. So some of them are less than 5.5 and some of them are greater than 5.5. We see R1 is A1, R2 less than 5. So it is A2 and R2 is A3. Then two of them B1, B2. So 2 equal to M. Thus two of the residues are greater than P by 2. Yes, that is the theorem. Then we can prove this also. Consider 1 into n, 2 into n, etc. P minus 1 by 2 into n. We see that these all residues are, we have seen that all residues are distinct. For if not, let Rn equal to Sn. Here Rn equal to Sn. Here the operation is modulo P. That is P divides Rn minus Sn. That means P divides R minus S into N. But we have assumed that P does not divide N. Therefore, P divides R minus S, which is not possible because R and S are less than P. So, these two are not possible. So, these all residues are distinct. Let them be R1, R2, etc. R in minus 1. Then we see that R in not in minus 1, RP minus 1 by 2. Let them be A equal to A1, A2, etc. AK, which are less than P minus 1 by P by 2, and B equal to B1, B2, etc. Bm, such that the elements of B are greater than P by 2. The elements of B are less than P by 2. Then we can define, say C. C equal to P minus B1, P minus B2, etc. P minus Bn. We can see that P minus B1, P minus B2, etc. P minus Bm are. Here we, by the example, we see A contains. So if n equal to 11 and n equal to 5, we have five residues. 1 into 5, that is 5. Then 2 into 5, that is 10. 3 into 5, that is 15, that is 4. 4 into 5, 20, that is 9. 5 into 5, 25. 25 equal to 3. So among these 5 residues, that is 1 into n, then A contains the numbers less than P by 2. That is 5.5 less than. That is 3, 4, 5. And also B is 9, 10. Then we fitted C equal to P minus B. Then we have P is 11. 11 minus 9. That is 11 minus 9 equal to 2. 11 minus 10 equal to 1. Therefore, what about A union C? A union C equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, we can see that if C equal to P minus B1, P minus B2, etc., P minus Bi, we can see that A union C equal to 1, 2, etc. to P minus 1 by 2. A union B equal to 1, 2, etc. to P minus 1 by 2. Then, yes, we can multiply these numbers 1 into 2 into 3 into etc. P minus 1 by 2. That is nothing but A1 into A2 into etc. AK into C1 into C2 into etc. Cn. 1 by 2 factorial equal to A1 is 1 into, yes, once again, A1 into A2 into etc. AK into C1. C1 is P minus B1 into C2 is P minus B2 into etc. P minus Bm. That is A1 into A2 into etc. AK into minus B1 minus B2 etc. minus B1. That is minus 1 raised to M. Into the so many terms are multiple of P, and the remaining terms is B1 into B2 into etc. Bm modulo P. That is minus 1 raised to M into, what is A1? 1 into N remain modulo P, 2 into N modulo P, etc. Bm is P minus 1 by 2 into M modulo P. N modulo. So we get P minus 1 by 2 factorial equal to, is congruent to minus 1 raised to M into 1 into N, 2 into N, etc. P minus 1 by 2 into N, 1 into 2 into 3 into etc. That is P minus 1 by 2 factorial into N into N into N into etc. N raised to P minus 1 by 2 modulo. That is, you can cancel P minus 1 by 2 factorial. Therefore, minus 1 raised to M is congruent to N raised to P minus 1 by 2. We know it is N by P modulo. Therefore, N by P is minus 1 raised to M modulo M, where M is the number of numbers which exceeds P by 2. Number of remainders which exceeds P by 2. That is the well-known Gauss lemma. Then we are come on to another important theorem. That is, let M be is defined in the Gauss lemma. Then M equal to, sigma n equal to 1 to P minus 1 by 2 Tn by P modulo. This Tn by P is the integer function. We know Tn equal to, Tn is a number, say T suppose n equal to 12 or n equal to 5, then T into n, say 5 into n, that is 5 into 5, that is 25. If we divide 25 by 11, we get 2 plus 3 by 11. Similarly, Tn by P equal to, 2 is the integer part of this 25 by 11. So it is Tn by P plus R1. Where R1 is 3 by 11, that lies between K1. K1 is the number lies between 0 and 1. Then multiply throughout by P. We get Tn equal to P into Tn by P. We cannot cancel this to P. This is an integral part of Tn by P. Plus P into K1. P is 11. 11 into K1 means the remainder, say RT. So we get an equation that is Tn equal to P into Tn plus RT. Therefore, Tn minus P into Tn by P equal to RT for T equal to 1 to etc. to P minus 1 by 2. Just as the both cases, we know R1, R2, etc. are P minus 1 by 2 are nothing but A1, A2, etc. AK, which are less than P by 2, and B1 B2, etc. Bm which are greater than T by 2. Then we can take sigma on both sides. So sigma T equal to 1 to P minus 1 by 2 Tn minus sigma P into integral part of Tn by P equal to sigma of T equal to 1 to P minus 1 by 2. That is, here T, the sigma runs over T. Therefore, we can take N into sigma T equal to 1 to P minus 1 by 2 N T minus P into sigma T equal to 1 to P minus 1 by 2 Tn by P equal to RT equal to sigma AI plus sigma B. But we know the sigma T equal to 1 to P minus 1 by 2 T. We have seen that is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus etc. plus P minus 1 by 2, that is equal to P square minus 1 by 8. Therefore, we get the first equation, that is N into P square minus 1 by 8 minus P into sigma T equal to 1 to P minus 1 by 2 Tn by P integral part of, that is equal to sigma AI plus sigma B. Again, R1 plus R2 plus etc. plus RP minus 1 by 2 is nothing but A1 plus A2 plus etc. plus AK plus B1 plus etc. plus B1. That is equal to sigma K equal to 1 to N, I equal to 1 to K, AI plus B1 plus B2 plus etc. plus BM that is B1 equal to P minus C1. Again, we can see that 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus etc. plus P minus 1 by 2 is equal to A1 plus A2 plus etc. plus AK plus C1 plus C2 plus etc. plus Cm. That is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus etc. P minus 1 by 2 is P square minus 1 by 8 equal to sigma AI for I equal to 1 to K plus C1. C1 is P minus B1, C2 is P minus B2, etc. P minus Bm. That is equal to sigma AI plus P, how many times? M times. So it is M into P minus sigma Bj for j equal to 1. That is P square minus 1 by 8. Adding 1 and 2 we have we have, 1 plus 2 plus etc. p minus 1 by 2 equal to a1 plus a2 plus etc. ak plus c1 plus c2 plus etc. plus cm. That is sigma ai plus c1 is p minus b1, p minus b2 etc. p minus bm. That is m into p minus 6. Adding 1 and 2 we get n plus 1. N plus 1 into p square minus 1 by 8 is minus p into sigma t equal to 1 to p minus 1 by 2 tn by p. Integral part of tn by p equal to sigma ai plus sigma ai. It is 2 sigma ai minus m plus m into p. bj cancelled. And considering this n plus 1 is n plus 2 minus 1. Where n minus 1 plus 2 into p square minus 1 by 8. Again, p is an odd prime. Therefore, let p equal to 2k plus 1. It is minus 2k plus 1 into sigma tn by p, where t runs from 1 to p minus 1 by 2 equal to 2 into sigma ai plus m into 2k plus 1. So, cancelling all the powers of multiples of 2, that is modulo 2, we collect all our multiples of 2 or mod 2. Then the remaining is we get n minus 1 into p square minus 1 by 8. 2k into this is cancelled, multiple of 2. Then only minus of that is also plus. We know minus 2, minus 1 is in z2, that is plus 1. So it is sigma tn by p t equal to 1 to p minus 1 by 2 equal to multiple of 2 plus 2k into m also m. Therefore, m equal to n minus 1 into p square minus 1 by 8 plus sigma t equal to 1 to p square minus 1 by 2 tn by p. But we are given that n is odd. Therefore, n minus 1 is also even. Therefore, all are mod t, mod 2. Therefore, m equal to, we get m equal to sigma t equal to 1 to p minus 1 by 2 tn by p. That is the integral part of tn by p modulo 2. It's a very important thing. Then we are come on to quadratic reciprocity. We know the quadratic reciprocity states that p by q into q by p equal to minus 1 raised to p minus 1 by 2 into minus 1 raised to q minus 1 by 2. P by q into q by q, p by q into q by p equal to minus 1 raised to p minus 1 by 2 into q minus 1 by 2. This proof is very simple. By means of this theorem, we can easily prove that the quadratic reciprocity theorem by means of this Gauss lemma. Quadratic reciprocity theorem. Quadratic reciprocity theorem states that p by q into q by p equal to, where p and q are distinct primes, then p by q into q by p equal to minus 1 raised to p minus 1 by 2 into q minus. We already studied minus 1 by p, 2 by p. Then we can find 3 by p by means of this theorem. That is, which 3 is quadratic residue modulo p for which number, and for which number they are non-residue modulo p. 3 for 3. That is 3 by p into p by 3 We know 3 by p into p by 3, p by q into q by, here we assume q equal to 3. So minus 1 raised to p minus 1 by 2 into q minus 1 by, that is 3 minus 1 by 2 is 2 minus 1 by 2, that is 1. Therefore it is equal to minus 1 by, raised to p minus 1. So we get p 3 by p into p by 3 equal to minus 1 raised to p minus 1. Then let us assume that p is a number. We know p is an odd number. So p can be expressed as, we know first of all 12 but 12 is not possible. So 12 plus 1. 12 plus 2 is not possible because it is not a prime and also even number. 12 plus 3 is also not possible since 3 is a common factor. So 12 plus 4 is not possible, but 12 plus 5 and 12 plus 6 is not possible, 7, and 12 plus 11. So there are 4 possibilities for p. So we have to check whether this p, if it belongs to 12 plus 1 form or 12 plus 5 or 12 plus 7 or 12 plus 11. So first of all take 12 plus 1. If p equal to 12 plus 1 minus 1 raised to p minus 1 by 2 equal to minus 1 raised to 12 p minus 1 equal to 12. Therefore p minus 1 by 2 equal to 6 and equal to 1. Therefore we have 3 by p into p by 3 equal to 1. Therefore p by 3 equal to 3 by p equal to 1 by p by 3. 3 by p equal to 1 by p by 3. Okay. 3 by p equal to 1 by p by 3. This p by 3 is legendary symbol, not within brackets. Then what is p? P equal to, we have p equal to 12 plus 1. P equal to 12 plus 1. So p by 3 equal to 12 plus 1 by 3. So 12 by 3 is a multiple of 3. So it gives 1 by 3. This multiple of 3. Therefore p by 3 equal to 1 by 3. But we know 1 square is congruent to 1 mod 3. That means 1 belongs to the quadratic residue modulo 3. Therefore 1 by 3 is 1. Therefore 3 by p is 1. That is, if p belongs to this form 12 plus 1, say 13 or 25, etc., we can see that if p is a 12 plus 1, 13, then 3 belongs to its quadratic residue modulo p. If you have time, you have to check whether that 3 belongs to the quadratic residue modulo p of the form 12 plus 1. Then we take p equal to, next form is 12 plus 5. Then p minus 1. P minus 1 equal to 12 plus 4. So p minus 1 by 2 equal to 12 plus 4 by 2 is also equal to 6 and plus 2. Therefore, minus 1 raised to p minus 1 by 2 equal to minus 1 raised to 6 and plus 2 equal to 1. Therefore, p by 3 equal to 3 by p by 3 into 3 by p into p by 3 equal to 1, or 3 by p is also equal to 1 by p by 3. But what is p by 3? P is 12 plus 5. So p by 3 equal to 12 12n plus 5. These are all multiples of 3, so it is 2 by 3. We know 2 does not belongs to the quadratic residue modulo P. Why? 1 square is congruent to 1 mod 3. Then 2 square is 4. 4 is congruent to 2 square is congruent to 4 mod 3, and therefore 1 and 4 belongs to this residue class modulo 3, and 2 does not belongs to the 4 means again 1. So 1 is the only residue modulo 3. Therefore 2 by 3 is not belongs to the quadratic residue modulo P. So 2 by 3 equal to minus 1. Therefore 3 by P equal to minus 1, and so it is not belongs to this. So 3, if P is of the form 12n plus 5, that is 24 plus 5, that is 29, is a prime, but this 3 does not belongs to its quadratic residue modulo. Then we can see that 12n plus 7. In for 12n plus 7, we know P minus 1 is 12n plus 6. Therefore, P minus 1 by 2 equal to 6n plus 3. That is minus 1 raised to P minus 1 by 2 equal to minus 1 raised to 6n plus 3 equal to minus 1. Therefore, P by 3 into 3 by P equal to P by 3 into 3 by P. P by 3 into 3 by P equal to minus 1. Then, what is P by 3? P by 3 equal to 12n plus 7 by 3 equal to 12n plus 6 plus 1 by 3 equal to 1 by 3. Therefore, P by 3 equal to, we know 1 belongs to the quadratic residue modulo P, so 1 by 3 equal to 1. Therefore, 3 by P equal to minus 1 into 1, that is minus 1. And in that case also, P does not belongs, N does not, 3 does not belongs to the quadratic residue modulo P if P is of the form 12n plus 7. Similarly, we can see that if P equal to 12n plus 11, P minus 1 is 12n plus 10, P minus 1 by 2 is P minus 1 by 2 is 6n plus 5. Therefore, it is minus 1. Then also, P by 3 into 3 by P is minus 1. P by 3 into 3 by P is minus 1. But, if P equal to 12n plus 11, P by 3 equal to 12n 3, that is 12n plus 9 plus 2 by 3. That is 2 by 3. But 2 by 3 equal to minus 1. Therefore, minus 1 into minus 1 gives 1. Hence, we have seen that if P is of the form 12n plus 11, it is 3 belongs to the quadratic residue modulo P, and if then Jacobi symbol. What is Jacobi symbol? Here we are assume Legendre symbol is assumed for P is a prime. Here we can assume that P be any positive integer, and then n by P is defined as the Jacobi symbol. Jacobi symbol. N by P equal to pi n by pi the whole raised to alpha I, where P is not a prime and P is of the form P1 raised to alpha 1 into P2 raised to alpha 2, etc. or pi pi raised to alpha. For example, we know 75. 75 equal to 3 raised to 1 into 5 raised to So in Jacobi symbol, we assume that p is not a prime, p is an odd integer, then n by p equal to pi I equal to 1 to n, okay, n by pi raised to alpha I, where p equal to p1 raised to alpha 1 into p2 raised to alpha 2 into etc. pk raised to alpha k. So I equal to 1 to k. Then Jacobi symbol states that n by p equal to pi I equal to 1 to k n by pi the whole raised to I. Therefore, if p equal to 75, then n by p equal to, then Jacob symbol, n by p equal to n by 3 into n by 5 into n by 5, or n by 3 into n by 5 into n by 5. That is Jacobi symbol. Then we have Diophantine equation. In Diophantine equation, we see that Diophantine equation is an equation for which the equation is solvable for integers. The solution is integer. So we have an important theorem, that is y square equal to x cube plus k has no solution. The not it is solution, no solution. Solutions of if k is of the form 4n minus 1 the whole cube minus 4n square. 4n square. That is the theorem states. Diophantine equation has no solution. Y square equal to x cube plus k, y square equal to x cube plus has a no solution for k equal to 4n minus 1 the whole cube minus 4n square, where m and n are integers such that there is no prime p is congruent to minus 1. So we easily prove, we assume the contradiction. Contradiction means we assume that it has solution, say x1 and y1. Therefore, y1 cube, y1 square equal to x1 cube plus k, where k is 4n minus 1 the whole cube minus 4n square. Then we know 4n minus 1 the whole cube contains 4n except for 1. Also here also 4. Therefore we can write this as y1 square equal to x1 cube minus 1 mod 4. Because every term contains 4n except this minus 4. So we can write this y1 square equal to x1 cube minus 1 mod 4. Then we assume that we know every integer is of the form, say a is an integer, a can be expressed as either a is 4n or 2n or 4n plus 4n or 4n plus 1 or 4n plus 2 or 4n plus 3. But a square is 16n square, that is multiple of 4n. Or what about 4n plus 1 the whole square? 4n plus 1 the whole square is 16n square plus 8n plus 1. So the remainder is 1. Similarly, if we take 4n plus 2, again it is a multiple of 4. Therefore, if a is any integer, then a square has two possibilities, either 0 or 1 mod 4. Then we can see that if x1 is any integer, x1 is an integer, x1 has four possibilities, either 4n or 4n plus 1 or 4n plus 2 or 4n plus 3 or 4n plus 3. But we can see that this 4n plus 1 is the only possibility. If we apply 4n plus 2, we get if x1 is congruent to 2 mod 4, we can see that x1, our equation is y1 square is congruent to x1 cube minus 1 cube. Therefore, x1 cube is 8. 8 is 4. It is congruent to x1 square. x1 square is 4. 4 means 0. 0 mod 4. So, we get y1 square. y1 square is congruent to x1 cube. x1 cube is also 0. So, it is minus 1 mod 4. But we know every square is either 0 mod 4 or 1 mod 4. Minus 1 mod 4 is not possible. Similarly, we can see that 2 mod 4 is not possible. So, only one possibility is x1 is congruent to 1 mod 4. So, the only one possibility is x1 is congruent to 1 mod 4. So, applying this equation, we can see that we have get an equation, say y square plus 4n square equal to 0. Y square plus 4n square equal to 0 mod on simplification. Skip this portion. So we get, there is a correction. So we get y1 square equal to minus 4n square mod p. Let minus 4n square equal to b, we get y1 square is congruent to b mod p with b equal to minus 4m square. b equal to minus 4m square. y1 square is congruent to b mod p means b belongs to quadratic residue modulo y, or b by p equal to b belongs to quadratic residue modulo p, that is b by p equal to 1. But we can see that we have arrived at a contradiction, that is b by p equal to minus 4m square by p is equal to minus 1 by p, and by applying Jacob symbols, minus 1 by p into 4 by p into by m 4 by p into m by p into m by p. So it is 1. Therefore, we get it is minus 1 by p, that is minus 1 raised to p minus 1 by 2, that is equal to minus 1. So we arrive at a contradiction. Therefore, our assumption is wrong. Therefore, the given Diophantine equation y square equal to x cube plus k with k equal to 4n minus 1 the whole square minus 4m square has no solution. Okay, thank you.